For all of your forwarding and freight shipping needs, we at Trin Forwarding International are committed to product delivery. At Trin Forwarding, we have the much needed experience, professionalism, and due diligence in freight forwarding, shipping, and cargoes. We deliver with timeliness and precision. You can reach out to us at our Caribbean office in Trinidad and Tobago, telephone number 868-624-6250, or our Florida, USA office at 305-887-9725.
Dawah and Interfaith Institute presents for the first time in USA Dawah and Interfaith training with education in world religions from religious professors and spiritual leaders of different faiths. This is a 6-month weekend course designed for brothers and sisters local, national, and international who are seeking to learn the importance of Dawah and better understanding of faith and cultures. For more information, please contact 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158. You can also contact via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com or visit our website www.alhikmat.com.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Global Issues on Al Hikmat TV 24/7 online. We are very blessed to have with us on today's show the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall. He is the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana, South America. So for viewers worldwide, again, Guyana is in South America, and we are very pleased to have with us in today's show the Attorney General himself, who is also the Minister of Legal Affairs. Welcome to the show, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum. It's a privilege to be here, and I want to thank you very much for inviting me to be part of your platform.
We are very honored to have you as a very, a very great personality, your background, your success, your achievement as the Attorney General of Guyana. So, for the benefit of our viewers, social media nowadays is very global. As you know, people all over the world look at this program. I have heard through the grassroots that Guyana is supposed to be very soon the Dubai of the Caribbean. So we have people from Dubai and all over the world that look at this show, and I'm sure they would be very, very interested in hearing what you have to say. Some of them may want to invest in Guyana down the road after listening to your comments and what we have to say. So, Honorable Attorney General, could you share with us, let's say, your background? What motivated you to become a lawyer? Before we get into your career and your position as a Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General, what motivated you to become a lawyer?
Well, I come from very humble beginnings, as most Guyanese have come, and I have in my family, my mother used to be a teacher, and I have an uncle who's a lawyer, and those were motivating factors. But more importantly, at a very young age, I developed this passion to see fairness and justice in relationships and in society generally. And I thought that law would provide me with a good foundation upon which I can build to achieve my aspiration of seeing a fairer and more just society, with emphasis being duly accorded to the underprivileged and the deprived. So those are generally the motivating factors, and that led me naturally into the political arena because having entered law, I was making a significant contribution in my humble and respectful view, but I saw a greater opportunity to do so on a grander scale, for I to enter politics. And I began to gravitate naturally to the political arena, and I joined the People Progressive Party and was able to elevate myself quite quickly into the leadership of the party and then into the parliament, where I've been a member since 2006. Um, in 2011, I was fortunate to be appointed the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. And at that time, I was very young, I think 37 years, would have been one of the youngest attorneys general in the world. I served in that government until we lost office in May of 2015. I went back into opposition. I maintained my seat in the parliament, and in opposition, we worked very hard. We corrected what were identified as errors that we would have made, having been in government for 2 decades successively. There was some degree of apathy. There may have been some degree of overconfidence. We may have not have connected as we traditionally would have liked to our supporters on the ground. We may have become complacent, and in that 5 years, we resolved to become most focused and to correct those deficiencies. And we worked hard in the trenches, in the fields, in the villages, in the communities, in the urban centers, across the far-flung communities of our country, in the indigenous villages. And we were able to get back into government. And I was returned as Attorney General. My party felt that they still had confidence in me, and I was returned as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. And I have been serving in that capacity since August the 2nd, 2020. And we are in the middle of budget presentation as I'm speaking to you now. We were presented last week our largest budget, the third budget since we were inaugurated in August 2020, and it's the third year of our 5-year national developmental plan contained in our manifesto, upon which we were elected.
So I will interrupt and interact in between as you're talking, just
Yes,
for the
of course.
benefit of our viewers worldwide. I know you said being an attorney, that was one of the reason why you got into politics. But in addition to that, what were some other reasons that would have really motivated you? Like what was happening in the country that you see the need to have someone like you and to have your contribution and what you can do for the country? This is something that may help other viewers worldwide who have the potential like you as a lawyer and attorney, and when they see things in their country, it may motivate them to get involved in politics, because a lot of people are hesitant in getting involved in politics. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. But you made it. The youngest attorney general in the world, in your country. I mean, that is very interesting, very, very phenomenal. So tell us what was happening and what you saw that you can change with your career and your background, etc.
So I joined the People's Progressive Party, the oldest political party in Guyana and perhaps the Caribbean, one of the largest mass-based political parties in the Commonwealth Caribbean. And that party is rooted in working class politics. And I felt compelled to be part of that movement to elevate our people, Guyanese people, from the shackles of poverty, subjugation, to address the question of ethnic discrimination and intrinsic and entrenched inequalities in our society. Those are the founding philosophy of our party, and they coincide with my vision of what I would like to do or to work towards in achieving. And I joined the movement. It's something that was started by the great Chedi Jagan, and he was my boyhood hero. And I felt that he was committed to national development. And I'm a patriot. You know, many thousands of people have left Guyana, as you would know, and have
So I,
migrated
I, I
to
was about to
Oman.
ask you that question. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna cut here and there
Yes, yes.
so that again it'll get it if more realistic as we discuss. So I have always heard that question. That Guyana is a big country. It's bigger than England in size. But the population is not as much as you expect because a lot of people migrated. So what was one of the reasons that the people
Well,
left Guyana and all
thank
these
you. Thank
hundreds of
you.
thousands left?
Thank you for asking me that question, because that helps me to put my story into perspective as well.
Excellent.
So we became independent in May the 26th, 1966, and our dreams as a young country were basically shattered by an authoritarian regime assuming governmental power, and they rigged every elections until 1992. And in that process, they destroyed the economy. At that time, Guyana was identified as one of the richest countries in this hemisphere. In fact, it was one of the shining jewelry in Her Majesty's crown in the Commonwealth, in the Commonwealth as well as the Caribbean, of course. But it was totally destroyed by dictatorial political regimes that rigged elections to remain in office. And once you begin to travel that path, it has a whole regime of horrendous circumstances and events that would follow. You will have destruction of fundamental rights and freedoms. You will have destruction of the economy. You would have destruction of the productive sectors. You would have hemorrhaging of your most talented people away from the country. And you would have economic stagnation and social deterioration. And all those things happen with a complete destruction of the legal system, the political system. Parliament became a rubber stamp. They rigged elections so much that they gave themselves a two-thirds majority so they could put what they want in the constitution. They imposed the constitution on the populace, and the whole gamut of what everyone knows about Guyana.
So
And that
what year are we talking
28
about? What year are we talking about? Or how
So
many
we're
years
talking
ago are we
about
talking about?
from 1964 all the way to 1992.
Wow.
28 years of dictatorship, political dictatorship, repression, violence, political opposition being beaten, killed. Walter Rodney, an outstanding historian and political opposition, was blown to pieces by a bomb. A lot of politicians were locked up, jailed, etc. And we had to struggle for 28 years to get free and fair elections restored to Guyana, to get international observers here to observe elections, to reform the system to ensure that there is mechanisms in place to guard against the institutionalized rigging, the non-participation of the army, which was used as a weapon against the people to rig the elections. And so all these things, as a child growing up, I lived under that. I was educated in a system that you educated, you recognize these things, although there were attempts to camouflage them. And these were things that embedded in me in a very young age, or at a very young age, that I have to play a part in ensuring that my country becomes part of the civilized world once again. Of
I think
course, and that
I think that's sorry to disturb you again. I think that's very motivating for viewers and people of other countries because I'm sure you're aware that other countries I wouldn't like to call name for just to be politically correct, or as they would say in other countries in the world where people face this kind of political problems, etc. But your involvement and your coming on board politically as a lawyer, that is definitely motivating to our viewers of other countries, and that should probably guide them to get involved and be of a personality like you and help to their country. But Mr. Attorney General, so we have already crossed 15 minutes of talking, so time just goes because it's interesting. It is interesting. I have heard a lot about those things from the grassroots, but not with some authority as we are hearing from you on this show. And I think a lot of people would love to hear this, and it might motivate some of those investors abroad to come to Guyana, and motivate some of the Guyanese who have left and are living now in Canada and America and London and other countries, etc., when they hear what you have to say as the Attorney General. So let us go on a short break, and when we come back, we want to continue on your experience, your vision. Where do you see Guyana from a financial point of view in the future, political point of view, with the gold, the oil, and all the different things that God has blessed Guyana with now, and your leadership and your party, the People Progressive Party. Where do you see the future of Guyana? So when we come back, we want to touch a little bit on that, inshallah, God willing. To our viewers out there, again, we have been talking to the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall, who is the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana, South America. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with him, inshallah, God willing.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah gives hikmah, wisdom, to whomsoever He wills. And whomsoever is given wisdom is certainly given a lot of good. Only the people of understanding will benefit from the reminder. Tune in to Al Hikmah TV for khutbahs, lectures, and Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 67, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa illam taf'al, fama balagta risalatahu. Very deep. Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spread the message of the Quran. And he told the Prophet, and if you do not spread the message, you did not fulfill the mission of the messenger. So you and I are followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we can afford one Quran, help us join in distributing the Quran. So if you can't afford one Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Global Issues on Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is a pleasure to have with us on today's show the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall, who is the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs for Guyana, South America. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Attorney General.
Thank you very much.
It's really a pleasure. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much from you and what you have to say, because as I said before, sometimes you hear some of those comments and people remarks, but you don't know how true it is. But hearing it from you, it's really very educational and very motivating to know where Guyana came from and where you are now and what you all have done, and people like you with the People's Progressive Party. So you were mentioning the people who left. Some of the things that caused so many people to leave.
So the repression, the joblessness, the hopelessness, the violence, the victimization, they had intense racial discrimination against Indo-Guyanese, and you had things like food shortages. Main food items were banned. Wheaten flour was banned, so you couldn't get roti or bread. Sardines, potatoes, dal, chana, onion,
But
garlic.
that's not the situation right now, right?
No. These things were all banned. And if you were found in possession of any of these items, your vehicles could have been seized and you could have been jailed. That was the law. You were criminalized if you wanted to eat a roti or a piece of bread. That's the reality. So that is what drove people out in huge numbers away from Guyana. They left Guyana by any means necessary, legally, illegally, backtrack, front track. And so you have a huge population in the diaspora of Guyanese.
So are those things back to normal in the country? Are you getting everything
yes,
back?
Certainly, but after thousands of people would have left, hundreds of thousands of people would have left, they began to sponsor their family. Then you have the pull factor. People want to, and it's difficult to compete for Guyana to compete with some of these societies, the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada. These are first world countries, so it's very difficult to keep. In particular, your trained people, educated people. So
on the other hand, Attorney General, Guyanese have done phenomenal abroad. They have, Guyanese own so much of properties. They have excelled, and they
I am naturally biased, and
tell me.
But I will tell you that I believe that Guyanese are among some of the most blessed people on planet Earth, and So my own family migrated, but I was a little more focused, and I wanted to stay here. I did well in my legal practice, and I was bent on staying in Guyana and traveling the necessary road to see economic recovery. And we have brought that back. Since we got into office in 1992, we inherited a completely bankrupt country, a country where more than half the population were living overseas, a country with little or no infrastructure, destruction of institutions like the parliament, the judiciary, etc. We had to build from ground zero, and this is without oil. And we built Guyana from that state, and we brought it back to economic viability. We were the most indebted people on planet Earth per capita. We got those debts written off and paid off, and we became considered to be a middle income developing country by 2011, 2015, when we left government, and that was before oil. And then, of course, oil has come, and we are now in an upward trajectory. We are rebuilding the country now in a significant way. We are concentrating on diversifying the economy, not to place over-reliance on the oil industry, recognizing that it is an exhaustible resource, and also recognizing that our real potential lies in agriculture. And that's what we are developing. You would have heard the saying that Guyana is supposed to be the food basket of the Caribbean. We are seriously pursuing that objective. And we are contributing significantly to food security in the region. We are preparing our country to export food. We are increasing agriculture in every single endeavor: livestock, sugar, rice, non-traditional crops, vegetables, fruits, and we are doing agro-processing. Central to our ability to deliver on this vision is to reduce the cost of power in Guyana. The cost of energy is very high, and that is what has been militating against developing a manufacturing sector. So we are building a gas to shore project to produce natural gas. We are working on, and that's $1 billion US project. We are working on hydropower on several centers across the country. We are working on solar energy and wind energy. We have a diversified energy program. You know, we are now the leading seller of carbon credits on the world market. We have pristine forest and we are managing that. And so we have developed new revenue streams in addition to our gold, diamond, bauxite, sugar, rice revenue streams. We are now big in the production of aquaculture. And of course, we are regulating the oil and gas industry itself is a mega center of economic activities. It's brand new to Guyana, so we are learning, we are training people. We have to protect Guyanese because they can easily be shoved out of the market, so we're passing legislation. And we are building some important alliances with international health centers across the world, like Mount Sinai and Northwell out of New York. They are coming to Guyana to partner with us. We are rebuilding hospitals right across the country, rebuilding schools. It's a very exciting place to be. Of course, I am responsible for modernizing the legal sector because none of these developments can take place without the legal foundation, the legal framework in place. So we have a very, very active legislative agenda.
So with all the new development and achievement over the past years, is it true that a lot of people from Trinidad and other countries are beginning to invest in Guyana? What is the status with Guyanese abroad? Are they returning to Guyana? Are they investing back in Guyana? What's happening in that arena?
So Guyana is now one of the most attractive investment destinations in this part of the world. That is undoubted. Naturally, persons are flocking to come here, and we welcome that. Trinidadians in particular, because of its close proximity, similarity in culture, language, people, etc. But more significantly, because you have had 100 years in the oil and gas industry, and you have institutions, you have companies, you have technical skill and wherewithal to contribute significantly to the sector. You have international companies as well, closely aligned to the oil operators here, ExxonMobil and Hess, etc. They have their companies that are coming. That's why we have to regulate the industry to ensure that Guyanese are protected, because we can easily be edged out. We have a strategic and very close connection with our diaspora. They have been with us through the hard times, and now the good times are here. We are ensuring that they are encouraged and they are given all the incentives available to bring back their wealth to Guyana, to invest in Guyana. After all, Guyana is their country as well. And so there's a hive of activities economically, socially, infrastructurally, legally, medically, educationally. Every sector is driving at full throttle, so to speak. And
Honorable Attorney, could you share with us? Could you share with us, now that you have all this success and all this God-blessed achievement? I know we had mentioned maybe during the break about the crime once upon a time that existed in Guyana. And as the Attorney General, you are the most ideal person to ask this question. What is the status with crime as opposed to what it was many years ago? One of the reason for people leaving Guyana was again because of food being banned by the previous government, and crime was so high. What is the situation now, and what do you see it like in the future?
So, as you would appreciate, nothing transforms overnight.
Yeah.
It's a process. So while I have outlined a hive of activities in every area of human endeavor in Guyana, it doesn't mean that the lives of the Guyanese people are going to be transformed. Rome was not built in a day. It doesn't mean that the social and other problems that we have faced for decades are going to be wished away. And we appreciate that. It requires work, it requires planning, it requires investment, it requires strategic partnerships with important international and other organizations. And we are pursuing that. So, crime has always been high in Guyana, and it continues to be a problem. But only last month, the Commissioner of Police disclosed some statistics that show that violent crimes, have been decreased significantly in Georgetown, for example, by 30%, and nationwide by 19%. Now, that is a significant decline not experienced in the distant past or in the near past. So, the investments that we are making and which we will continue to make, the infusion of technology, training, and a scientific approach to crime fighting is paying off. And it is one of the flagship promises in our manifesto, and we will continue to work assiduously in ensuring that there is public safety in Guyana and that eventually we can bring crime to acceptable level. And that is one of the significant problems that we are working on. And we have a national security strategy and a national crime fighting plan where we are installing like cameras across the country on the roadways. We have built intelligence centers, equipping them with the most modern apparatus to ensure that, we are able to monitor activities across Guyana. Of course, we have our own peculiar challenges. We have thousands of miles of porous borders. You have an unstable country in Venezuela where you have constant unlawful migration into the country, and that is posing a problem by itself. With success comes some own problems. You have people from different parts of the world are also coming here, so we have to increase our monitoring capabilities to manage what is taking place. And these persons are bringing with them, modern methods of conducting criminal activities. So we have to constantly be improving our potential and improving our capability in a commensurate fashion. So and so that's a work in progress. We are bringing in some people from India and other places to equip our forensic laboratory. So we have a forensic laboratory, which is a major accomplishment. We can do a lot of chemical analysis, DNA testing, that type of thing. Important adjunct to the fight against crime. We now have to invest in getting personnel to man these institutions. And what we are planning to do is just don't bring them here and leave them, and then when their contract expires, they go. We are going to work with the University of Guyana to bring them into training, bring them into the what you call the curriculum, so that they can train a whole generation of Guyanese to take over. So it's building resources. We have a scholarship program that we have already from 2020 to now given some 11,000 scholarships to study in different universities across the globe, free of cost, no attachment to the government, financed by the government in all areas, targeting every age group. This year alone, we are going to give another 10,000 scholarships so that we are educating our country, educating the population. We have, for example, about 7 5-star hotels under construction: Marriott, Hilton, Holiday Inn, Best Western, different brands of the various Holiday Inns and so on. So we have a vibrant, expanding hospitality sector. We have to build a hospitality institute. We are working on that. We are educating our people in that sector. We are going to start an oil and gas training institute as a multi-million US dollar operation because we need to train people. We are building a pipeline that's 160 miles long from the Atlantic Ocean to bring in the natural gas.
Wow.
We need thousands of welders, underwater welders. We have to build a natural plant. We are building a bridge across the Demerara River. You Trinidad, what you call river, we call a canal or a trench here.
Yes,
Our rivers
yes.
are miles long. So we are building that's a project that will start this year. The contract has been signed. It's 165 million US. The bridge is supposed to escalate over 100 feet in the air. So I mean, I could go on to talk about how many highways we are building, how many stadia we are building. I spoke about the hospitals, the new schools. So a lot of exciting things.
I think that is really amazing and incredible. Listen, it's great. That's a blessing. It's a blessing. And
but you should come here with your camera. Come with your camera crew and video what is going on. And you can do a whole program by itself.
We will surely take you up on that.
On that alone.
We will surely take you up on that, Mr. Attorney General. As I said, Al Hikmah TV director is a news editor for NBC, so it will be interesting to come down to Guyana and do a documentary on the development and the future of Guyana, because we keep on hearing it's going to be the next Dubai of South America and the Caribbean. That is really incredible. But we got to go on a short break. And when we come back, I would really like to ask you, for the benefit of our viewers worldwide, and for myself especially, a little bit about your career, maybe some of the technical cases that you would have dealt with as a lawyer, but that experience, dynamic personality that you have as a lawyer in Guyana, and maybe a little bit about the pros and cons of being the Attorney General of Guyana. What is that like, so that our viewers and our people worldwide can learn from your experience? So to our viewers out there, stay tuned. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall, who is the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana, South America, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah gives hikmah, wisdom, to whomsoever He wills. And whomsoever is given wisdom is certainly given a lot of good. Only the people of understanding will benefit from the reminder. Tune in to Al Hikmah TV for khutbahs, lectures, and Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 67, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa illam taf'al, fama balagta risalatahu. Very deep. Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spread the message of the Quran. And he told the Prophet, and if you do not spread the message, you did not fulfill the mission of the messenger. So you and I are followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we can afford one Quran, help us join in distributing the Quran. So if you can't afford one Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Global Issues on Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. And for those of you who have just tuned in, we are talking to the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall, who is the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana, South America. Welcome back to the show, Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Good. So as we said before we went on a short break, This is more very personal to you now because of your personality. I think your experience and your advice may help a lot of lawyers out there, people who are studying law, who are becoming lawyers, or have been lawyers. Would you like to share maybe one or two technical cases that you would have dealt with in your career, maybe definitely before becoming the Attorney General? And then I would really love to hear your experience on what are the pros and cons of being an Attorney General, advantages, disadvantages. What is it like? So tell us.
Well, I was fortunate in that I, at an early age, appreciated the need to be focused in my professional pursuit. So even while I was studying law, I sought employment at the chambers of one of the leading lawyers in Guyana, if not in the Caribbean, Mr. Dudnot Singh, senior counsel. I worked with him for a number of years. I was able to align myself with Dr. Fenton Ramsahoy very early in my career. And the exposure that I got with those men were phenomenal and helped me tremendously in advancing my career. Being associated with those men exposed me to many, many important cases. And I had the privilege and benefit of appearing over the last 25 years in most of the, if not all, of the leading political constitutional cases in the country. And that's before I became Attorney General. And so I had that kind of exposure, being in the limelight, being in the press, and interrogating and researching and advocating in very important legal cases of national importance, which involved high principles of public law and constitutional law, etc. So I had that grounding, and that catapulted me up the ladder very quickly. And since then, after those men would have died, I assumed my own role and have become the lead lawyer in my party and in the political, one of the lead lawyers in the political arena in all the important political constitutional cases. Of course, I continue that trajectory as Attorney General. You are automatically named as a party in all the important political cases involving the Constitution or elections, etc. So, I have that I have the benefit and the privilege of being afforded that great opportunity. I appeared, for example, in Guyana's first case at the Caribbean Court of Justice. In the Caribbean Court of Justice first case, I also appeared, that's the appellate level. I appeared in Guyana's and the court's first case in its original jurisdiction, that's the treaty jurisdiction. So that's two important distinctions that I have been able to accomplish. I am reported widely in the West Indian law reports, in the Commonwealth law reports, of course in the Guyana law reports, and some of the most memorable cases that I've done related to, there are many, but of recent vintage, the disaster that we had after the March 2nd elections, where the then government refused to give up power, although they lost the elections. And we had to lead a national and international campaign, which a large part of it was fought in the courts. And I was one of the lead lawyers in that. Actually, I was the lead lawyer in Guyana, being led by Douglas Mendez of Trinidad and Tobago most of the time. And those are some of the most memorable cases that I appeared in, and some of the most memorable cases that would have ever been decided in Guyana, even 100 years down the line. They're important cases, important for democracy, important for the Constitution, important for the rights and freedoms of Guyana and the Caribbean. They are going to be used to guide legal, political impasse in the near and distant future. So As Attorney General, it's challenging, but I enjoy it. I am privileged that I'm in a government that gives me great latitude. My president has great confidence in me, so I am allowed to work very freely. Um, we have in Guyana, we have the most active legislative agenda, I believe, in the entire Commonwealth, certainly in the Caribbean, because we have to build this legal cradle that the economy, this blossoming economy, um, has to be situated in, and that legal foundation is necessary. And then, of course, I have to defend the government all the time in the courts and in the legal system. Um, I have responsibility also. I'm secretary for the Defense Board, which is a very important statutory position. The Defense Board manages the National Army, and I'm also a member of the National Security Council that deals with national security in the country. Um, I am I am the minister responsible for AML, anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism. Um, so it's a very big agenda, a very heavy workload, but I enjoy it. To me, it's not work. This is what I want to do. I enjoy doing it. So, you know,
You
of
enjoy
course, I'm in
that.
parliament. I have a constituency that I have to answer to. And so it's good. It's exciting. It keeps you busy. It keeps me agile mentally and physically. And I enjoy doing it. And
So it's an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment as a successful lawyer, becoming the Attorney General of the country and working towards the development and the success in Guyana. Well, that is really amazing. That is really.
Let me interrupt you to say this. It's a team effort, and a lot of people have played an important role in me achieving whatever I have achieved, and I want to recognize them, and put that on the public record. So
Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to have so many good things and good people around me, and that has contributed significantly to whatever success I may have achieved.
Well, I must say, Mr. Attorney, that the success and the achievement and the development taking place in Guyana is really, really well known worldwide now, because wherever I go, people are like, "Wow, you guys are doing phenomenal." I'm like, and a lot of people, people abroad, India, Africa, like I was recently in India and some lectures in Africa, etc. People, they don't necessarily go too much in the details of the difference with Trinidad and Guyana. So they will think, "Oh, so Sheikh, you're from Guyana." I'm like, "Yeah, well, we all one people that came down, but I live in Trinidad," because it's like a Caribbean person not knowing too much of the difference between a Pakistani and a Bangladesh or Indian. They think,
I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
would have seen, you would have seen our president had a very big delegation, including Trinidadians, to India recently, and was awarded this prestigious award by Prime Minister Modi. And we had several important commercial engagements, and would have built many strategic alliances with investors and companies and agencies in India, all that augurs well for economic and commercial advancement.
That is really nice. That is really interesting. And I'm sure that Guyana has a lot, and the world is hearing a lot about Guyana now and the achievement. And I'm sure you all will have a lot of more investors and people who are interested. So tell us, we are coming to the end of the show. We got about 2 or 3 minutes again before we conclude. What would you like to say in your closing remarks?
I would like to say that while we are experiencing all these successes that you are referring to, we cannot lose sight of the fact that we are still one of the poorest countries in the world. Our people are poor, and we have so many goods and services to deliver to bring our people up to an acceptable standard. I don't want to sit here and paint a picture that it is all hunky-dory. It's not. Guyana has come from the depths and bowels of poverty and will not be out of that instantaneously. It will take time. But Guyana has a government in place that recognizes that reality and that has the vision and a plan to deliver us from that, depth of poverty from which we have come. And we are on our way to achieving that objective. We work tirelessly in Guyana as a government and as a people. We have an opposition who are not cooperative, are not constructive. I have always advocated for a vibrant, responsive, and responsible opposition who can put us under proper scrutiny, who can hold us accountable. Unfortunately, we have an opposition that is destructive and preaches racism, hate, and division all the time. So we have to take that on board. That's the reality. And we are working with that. Every day we continue to extend a hand to them, whether they want to come on board or not. But that is not so important as uniting our people. We are a nation of 6 races, and every day our government is forging ahead with policies, with programs to address the concerns and address the needs of every single Guyanese, and at the same time trying to build that united bond of one Guyana.
Interesting. Well, Honorable Attorney General of Guyana and Minister of Legal Affairs, we thank you very much. I know you definitely 199% got a very busy schedule. We wanted to get you on the show approximately 1 year now. We were not able to because I know your schedule is very, very complicated, a hectic one, as we would say. But thank God we got you on the show. It's a blessing for you to come on board and be with us. And definitely when we visit Guyana, we will pay you a visit. And whenever you visit South Florida, feel free to pay us a visit. It will be a pleasure to meet and to get to know each other in person. As we say,
Thank
inshallah,
you.
God willing.
Thank you very much. And I thank your technical team. Thank you for extending the invitation to me. I'm sorry I could not have done it earlier. And to your viewers, once again, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. And to our viewers out there, thank you very much for tuning in to Al Hikmah TV. It was indeed a pleasure to have with us the Honorable Mohabir Anil Nandlall, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana, South America. And always remember, stay tuned to Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, says, those people whose shughul, whose occupation is in learning Quran, teaching Quran, spreading the message of the Quran, without asking Allah for anything, Allah grants it to them. Please, as we live in this world, we can check how many businesses we have and how many accounts we have and how many properties we have. Let it be that the angels count how many Quran you distribute in the path of Allah. So if you can't afford 1 Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300.
Dawah and Interfaith Institute presents for the first time in USA Dawah and Interfaith training with education in world religions from religious professors and spiritual leaders of different faiths. This is a 6-month weekend course designed for brothers and sisters local, national, and international who are seeking to learn the importance of Dawah and better understanding of faith and cultures. For more information, please contact 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158. You can also contact via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com or visit our website www.alhikmat.com. Linda M. Kaplan, PA, an immigration law firm. Over 40 years of legal services in immigration and naturalization matters. Contact her at 305-670-7665. Once again, 305-670-7665, or email her at lk@lindakaplan.com or visit her website lindakaplan.com. You can also contact for more details the Al Hikmat office at 954-986-0158 or 1-800-804-0267. You can also reach out to them via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com, the website www.alhikmat.com, and visit the Al Hikmat TV www.alhikmattv.com. Jummah's Glass Supplies, specialized in French doors, windows, aquariums, puttywork, and more. 45 Garth Road, Princestown. For more information, please call at 1-868-736-6204. That is 1-868-736-6204. Or message on WhatsApp at 1-868-272-2302. Again, 1-868-272-2302. Or email at jummahsglass73@gmail.com.
Allah